What is up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Coffee and Coaching. I've got the one and only Miss Connie White. What's up?
Excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. And I know we had a little technical difficulties. We figured it out, but we're ready to rock and roll.
Got it.
Man, so for all the folks tuning in, I would love for you to just share a little bit about yourself. And I know we'll go back in time. We'll go previous real estate, and there's a lot of things that I want to dive into with you today. And so yeah, kick us off. Give us a little info.
All right, here you go. I kind of fell into real estate. I used to work at a local hospital in the cancer center. Met my business partner when our kids were in karate. And so I started working with him. He is an absolute entrepreneur and has taught me a lot. I have grown tremendously because of him. We had the telephone company, and we happened to be in the building that I'm in now. It's about 2,600 square foot condo we own. And Exit Realty was in here. So when Exit Realty decided to shut down,
they decided to exit, right?
Exit decided to exit. And so what they did is said, Wayne was like, hey, why don't we become investors and invest in real estate? And I'm like, well, we're not realtors. And he's like, well, it's okay. Realtors will make us money. It'll be an investment. I'm like, sure, let's do it. So couple months went by. I'm sitting here looking at the broker in charge, and I'm like, where are these people you call realtors? And she's like, oh, well, they're a different breed. They come and go. They work when they want. And I'm like, really? Well, who's going to pay the bills? So at that point, I got my real estate license because someone had to make it and make a go of it. And it's been wonderful ever since. So falling into the career was the best thing for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, here we are years later.
Yeah. You guys are true entrepreneurs, and we'll talk a little bit about a lot of that stuff here during this conversation. But yeah, share a little bit about, because there's some really moving, we had kitchen table event last week, and you and Wayne were able to come out and join us, and, just you being vulnerable and kind of sharing, life before real estate. And there was some really powerful, stories that really kind of helped shape who you are during that time. And I think it's worth repeating. And, obviously people here haven't heard it, but I would love for you to kind of unpack that and share that a little bit.
Yeah. I step back and I think about who I am and what I've been, and I probably see myself a lot more clearer now. So number one, I thank God. I thank God for everything in my life, because that's where my grounding comes from. My best role, I think, has been my kids. I've been very fortunate. I've got two boys, both who got married this year, so that was exciting. Raised military. My dad was a 30-year Navy veteran, so I was used to change, used to that adjustment of picking up, moving. But my kids have been my grounding. It's been fun. I'm two boys. I know sports. Love football. Love baseball. Love talking about it. Miss watching them, play their sports. But both of them are great kids. One's a respiratory therapist. His wife's a nurse. The other is a police officer, and his wife has her own business. She's a hairdresser and owns her own salon. So I've really put a lot into my kids. And so now I'm, projecting forward and putting in a lot to me in my real estate.
What, you mentioned something there. You said, moving a lot, creating, learning at an age to where you have to be flexible. How has that flexibility, served you as moving into real estate and the other ventures that you've kind of have in the future? But how has, that experience learning how to be flexible served you?
Well, in real estate, it absolutely has served me well because you've got to wear a lot of different hats and you've got a lot of moving parts. And so you have to be organized, focused. You have to be able to shift and move, and you can't stumble. I mean, you got to keep rolling. You got to keep moving. When I was growing up, it was nothing for my dad to come and sit at the kitchen table and say, "Oh yeah, in 3 months we're going to be like relocating," and so we would have a moment of but then we'd move forward because we had no choice. You couldn't cry, you can't whine, you got to go. So in real estate, it's a lot of pivoting, and I think unless you're really used to that, it's not just sitting here completing one task, it's moving, it's several different parts at one time. um, I just think it's you've got to be able to be flexible, you've got to be able to adjust, and you have to roll with what comes at you, because you never know when you're going to have a problem that was unexpected.
Yeah, I think that's such a key trait that all of us need to develop and understand the power of flexibility in such fast changing times. And we've really been spending a lot of time lately talking about Dan Sullivan's new book and his concept, The Gap and the Gain. And the last chapter of that book, they talk on that point right there specifically, is that those that remain flexible in their thinking allows them to stay in the game where true happiness happens, and not get into that rut of the gap because you're too rigid, and you won't be able to be flexible and bend. And especially in real estate, because one of the key things, as everything continues to evolve with technology, as buyers and sellers become smarter, and there's just so many moving parts, is that if you remain rigid, you're going to get past, and you have to stay in that flexible mindset of, okay, what are all the ways? What's the best way? And
Yeah.
I think too, Connie, when you don't know the destination, you don't know where you're trying to get to, then sometimes you might remain a little rigid. You're not flexible because you don't understand all the ways to get where you want to go. And Jay and I talked about this on Monday or on Tuesday, and we hashed it out with Chauncey. And so I just love hearing that, because sometimes it takes, as we're young, to be able to understand and develop that type of thinking. And what a better way, right? When you're forced to make a move, you have to remain flexible.
Yeah. You've got no choice. You got to go with it. That's it. You got to go forward. And and I kind of look at my clients. I work in a diverse range with my clients as far as their ability and what they purchase. And I think what I have learned in my background, with military, also working at the hospital, when my clients, it doesn't matter if you're buying something that's $10,000 or $800,000, it's $1 million to everybody. And so it's the treatment of people, it's what you do for them, it's the service that you provide to them. I love transactions. When people talk to me about, are you in a certain area? No, I'm not in a certain area. What I like is the multiple transactions, because you learn so much. You learn about people, you learn about a different problem could happen today that I hadn't even heard about after being in real estate for 10 years. And I love it. I love that diversity. I love the growth. And so it's ever changing. So that's what I think is most exciting about real estate.
I think you love people.
I do. I do love people.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, life before real estate, and what you were doing, and then with real estate, loving the transaction. And it's like you said, you understand everybody values, it's worth $1 million to them, no matter what it is, and so trying to put yourself into their shoes. So I also feel there's a ton of compassion and empathy that you have.
Well, I think I do. I'm not sure that my family always thinks that, but I think they may disagree. And I've got them in the background watching, so they're going to critique me and they'll probably just tear me apart. But that's okay. That's what I want them to do. So that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, it's awesome to see. And I, just just being able to have the opportunity to kind of get to know you and Wayne over the years. And so being able to just see that evolution and where we're moving into. And so, you first came into kind of our ecosystem to try to solve a problem. And what was that for you and Wayne that you guys were trying to figure out?
For us, we've always done very well in real estate. I mean, we hit it hard. I remain humble, but I do know that I've done well. But what we were lacking was number one, a really good listing presentation, and number two, follow up. I'm probably the worst at follow up, and it's not because I don't want to be, it's just that you just get busy. But it was really our listing presentation. And sometimes in our area we don't have a lot of people to like, don't be offended anybody in the Charleston area, but we don't have a lot of people to learn and grow from. And so Wayne did the research. He found you and Jay, and we were off learning about NAEA and the CEO group, and just the whole growth of, there's more to know about real estate and to learn from such iconic professionals, and the coaching that you give. But mainly for me, it was taking away that listing presentation to come back to be more competitive, because it's a competitive industry. So
Very,
I got it.
very competitive market, right? You're in one of the toughest markets competitive wise, I would say, in the country. And man, your whole market's just ingrained with our DNA. When you've got behemoths, I mean, you've got the Jeff Cooks of the world, the Caleb Pearsons, you've got, I mean, how many other rock stars that have gone, through our training and really have just accelerated their business. And so, yeah, it's really crazy to see that market you guys are in. And I'm excited for the direction and where you and Wayne are going.
And I'll tell you why I'm excited, because you're right. I mean, I know exactly who the bigger players are in our area. I think that as Connie White, I stand right up against them. And so, and now I'm excited about what you're doing with me, that we're going to be very vocal about it. We're going to be very transparent. We're going to be loud and proud, because I want us to grow. I want you to grow. I want everybody to be a part of what I am a part of. So, I want to take Wayne and I to a whole different direction. I want to, potentially build a team, or I want to start getting into the coaching realm. Anytime I used to go to real estate school before COVID hit, it was such an exciting 15 minutes to talk to the class, because I think that what we need are staples in our industry who are going to help teach people the correct way, and help people grow. And until I met you and Jay, I didn't have that. I just didn't have it. And so I'm so grateful that we found you.
Yeah. During that first time, and you worked with Sir Walter Bressler for a period of time, and really developing those key things that you guys, the problem you were looking to solve. And I think that's a good lesson for anybody listening in. That's like, man, I need some help. I've got to, one, you have to have an awareness that you have a problem, and then it's like committing to, okay, well, do I want help or not, and trying to solve that solution. I've shared this story the last couple weeks, but if you believe in Malcolm Gladwell's the 10,000 hour rule, and you look at anything that takes mastery takes 10,000 hours. That's his whole study. Tiger Woods, the Beatles, you go back and you see all the work that they put in. And Robert Greene, who wrote the 48 powers of laws of power, he and many other, just incredible reads. He said there's only one thing that challenges that thinking, in that concept or that principle, and that's coaching. A coach can collapse time and challenge that 10,000 hour rule. So something that might take you 10,000 hours, a coach can get you there in 7. And so, one, being humble enough to realize you do have a problem and you want to get better in that problem, and then reaching out and making that commitment to build that confidence. So we talk about, well, confidence just doesn't come. Confidence comes collection of wins process to get to to get to that confidence. And that's, you've got to commit. You've got something you want to solve. Like you and Wayne wanted to solve the listing. You wanted to solve the follow-up. You made a commitment. And then you had to have the courage to stand in the fire, not knowing what you don't know, but trusting the process to develop the skills, the capabilities you needed to then go out and get some victories so you could build that confidence. And that's really what it takes. It takes an awareness that you have a problem, and that you're willing to commit to solving it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because even though I've been in this industry 10 years, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And there's a lot to learn because I always want to improve. I can, if I have to pick out a failure, I will, and I'll improve upon it. If I have to step back and say, you know what, you need to like kind of regroup, go back to the basics, or, get some training, whatever, that's what we should do to grow in our industry. I consider this a career. This isn't a job, it's a career. So the only way you get better at your career is to keep improving, keep learning, reach out, find, better processes, better training. And so that's why we know every time someone talks to me about where do you get trained, I'm like, not around here, outside of the area. I get the heck out of here. I said I go where the big boys are and I learn from them, so they make me better. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a quote.
We'll have to hashtag that one right there. Not here. Go where the big boys are. That's
That's
awesome.
right, the big boys are.
So you guys have made a pretty significant decision here in the last pretty much 60 days. And what was it for you and Wayne to step back and say, we've got to take another step forward? So we'd had this conversation a couple years ago about, hey, make this shift, and somehow you just weren't ready. I'm just really curious what changed to where you became ready, and then you made that commitment.
Yeah, if I have to look back when we first met, you and Jay 3 years ago, we probably should have made the move then. But you're right, we were so focused on what we were looking for as far as our improvement of our listing presentation. We kind of had just like, that's what we're here for. That's all we're going to talk about. So now we have done very well. We have been very successful, but we want to take it to a whole different level. And by taking it to a different level, we feel that and any realtor watching this, you've got to understand, if I owned my own brokerage and I could play by any rule I wanted to play by owning my own brokerage, I feel that the move with jumping over to EXP, the tools that they have in combination with more tight training with you, that it's only going to catapult me much further. So 2022, I'm like excited. I think it's going to be my best year ever. And that's just because of, a lot of things that I was paying a la carte for tools to have the best, because we always had the best. To be competitive, you had to pay the best. So we paid the best. But now EXP offers me a lot of the tools that I was paying a la carte for, and so much more support. And then again, training with you. I'm just like 2022 should be my best year, and that's what I'm counting on it, and that's where my drive is going to be, and it will be. So when you and I talk at the end of next year, I'll be able to like show you what that success was. So very
Yeah.
thrilled.
Yeah. It's so cool. And, sometimes you're just not ready. Right. And, we, as far as EXP goes, and we don't have to get into it, but I have a belief that everybody's coming. And so if you believe that, then you just don't stop pouring into people. You don't stop being a guide for them. And so it's just timing. It's just timing. Sometimes, like you said, you were trying to solve a particular problem. You felt you guys had solved that. Now you were looking to solve another problem. And
Well,
that's just really how you have to look at it.
yeah, if anybody in this industry, which I've always heard it, there's been a couple key players in the industry who'll talk to me and they're like, "Girl, you're crushing it," and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm just working. I'm me. But if you think I'm crushing it and I make this move because I want to crush it harder, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to follow somebody who's in this industry, in this region, in Charleston, who has that, mindset of who wants to do better? If I think that this is going to make me do better, why wouldn't someone want to follow me? Especially if they think my track record has been so successful. I
Right.
think that this has the best move for me. And that's why we're really looking for growth. And I know it's the best move.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you. One of the big things that I'm really excited for you is the rebrand. And have felt, Connie White has been kind of hiding behind something. And talk us through that decision to understand that, I can't hide. I've got to get out there. I've got to position myself.
Yeah, exactly. And because I mean, I have just been, even though I'm a broker, I've just been in a realtor role. I've hidden myself away. I'll help anybody if they reach out to me, and I always have good transactions with other realtors. But now, what I'm going to do is I'm stepping off. I hired this lovely lady named Holly Kitchens and her sizzle, and she is going to help rebrand me. And what we're going to do is we're going to make me, Wayne, what we do rock stars. And
Yeah.
so we're just going to rebrand. We're going to open up the Connie White Real Estate powered by EXP. And we're going to build, we're going to grow, and I want to dominate. And so just the whole rebranding, Holly helping us out. I mean, just like that, I would have never before,
Looks
ever,
good.
never,
Yeah.
never.
Love it.
Yeah, but there's more to come. I've got a sign coming calling the Connie White Show because I'm going to start a podcast. So, and anybody who knows me is thinking, oh, yeah, right, she can start a podcast. That's not her. But again, it's stepping outside my comfort zone. So for me to grow, I've got to step out. So this is exciting.
I can't wait to be a guest. So
Oh, you're going to be a guest.
yeah, I mean, I think, if you're looking to, there's nobody better in the business. If you want to position yourself correctly in today's market, there's nobody better to work with. And, always tell that if you really want to, she'll make you famous, just period.
Yeah.
So if you want to up your brand and up your image and everything, there's nobody better to reach out than her.
Yeah, and I mean, she's been on point. She gives me homework, I return it to her. She tells me what I need. We've got it. Had a lot of equipment come in here yesterday, a microphone, all kind of stuff's coming in. So we're gonna be really stoked about setting it up and getting it going. So yeah, Holly's awesome. She's great.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. So what are you, besides the rebrand, the podcast, and just really the positioning into the new market, what else are you and Wayne excited about moving into 22?
If I have to step outside of our realtor skin, we've actually started another venture.
I
So
love this one right here.
another one. It's so exciting. I can't wait. And so I don't even talk about it a lot to my kids because you never want to jinx something until it happens and then you talk about it. So
I don't think you're going to jinx anything. It is right. You got it. I was like, I'm getting Connie on. This is what I want to talk about the most.
oh, okay, forget real estate. Let's go to have some fun.
Yeah.
So Wayne and I happened to go to an event. We actually like tequila. We've been known for a Jaeger bomb or two. But we decided we were looking for a gift for our clients, and we're like, well, why don't we just like kind of get a tequila or some type of wine, label it, whatever. So we were actually sitting at a Mexican restaurant talking to the owner of our local Mi Fiesta. His name is Juan. He's awesome. And so it kind of hit us. And I'm like, well, why don't we just like start branding or, brewing or creating our own tequila? And so we're sitting there talking about it. And we had gone to an event about tequila. So we kind of learned the story from the tequila ambassador. And so she's like, well, tequila is like a jealous girlfriend. It doesn't mix well. So if you mix tequila wrong, you're not going to have a really good experience. So, in my mind, I was like, wow, jealous girlfriend. So I looked it up. I'm like, well, what translates into jealous girlfriend? But Novia Celosa. So we have trademarked Novia Celosa. We've already got the approval in Mexico. It's in the process in the US, so we're just waiting for it to finish up in the US. Wayne's got it all figured out. We're going to be going to Mexico. He's already got the region, how it's going to be created. It's going to be a Blanco, but our name is Novia Celosa. And somewhere on the bottle, it'll say jealous girlfriend, since we'll teach people how not to mix so you don't have that bad experience.
Yeah, it's amazing. Connie shared the branding, the image, and And Holly shared just a little reminder that if it doesn't swag, the brand's off. And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, home run. Like the tequila has to be good, but it doesn't have to be that good. The brand will sell itself. It is, y'all nailed it. You nailed it. That's what I know it's going to work with certainty.
I mean,
It's
the best name for tequila,
Jealous
Novia
Girlfriend.
Celoso, jealous girlfriend. I mean, it just says it all. So we're so excited about it. We're
Yeah.
thrilled. So,
And what's cool is the story. There's, the story of what that means. If the tequila's not right, then that's what's going to happen. So, going in and making sure you've got a great brand, a great product, that equals success. So,
yeah, I told Holly she'll probably be helping us launch that as well.
oh yeah,
So,
have to for sure. And
absolutely.
so me and DJ and Matt, we've got this podcast idea called You, Me, and a Bottle of Tequila. So I think we'll have you guys on our You, Me, and a Bottle of Tequila podcast.
That is so cool. We'll be there. Absolutely,
Yeah,
we'll be there. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's
we're excited.
so awesome.
It's like, again, I would never be the person that I am without Wayne as a business partner, because he teaches me to like think outside of a box. Where in the world would I ever thought about having my own tequila? So and
Here's what I love about this, Connie, and I don't mean to cut you off. Here's what I mean about that. Here's what I love about this is that this is so important. This is true entrepreneurship. All entrepreneurs are trying to look and solve a problem. And so you guys were trying to solve a problem in a gift that stood out to be able to give your clients.
right.
And so that's what led you guys down that path. And then it opened up, and you're always listening for these little things. And does this swag, does this resonate? How is this a story that people will never forget, right? You'll never forget the jealous girlfriend story. And
Never.
so that's why it works. But everybody listening in, you have to look for problems and solve problems. And we talk about, if you solve small problems, you're going to make small money. If you solve big problems, you're going to make big money. And so, and then you got a great brand on top of it. You win. Yeah,
Yep,
you
it's
win.
a win. But and even tying it back into real estate, you've got to put yourself around successful people and people who are thinking outside of a box, people who want to grow. And I think that's what I like about being with you, NAEA, Jay, Albie, Michael, everyone. And then everybody that I just met at the kitchen table that we went to in Oklahoma. Those are, everybody was impressive. I mean, I was like, not that I was intimidated walking into the room, but I knew that I was around, a group of 30 people that are just focused and driven. And it didn't matter if they had a team or they were individuals or they were in real estate 30 years versus 2 years. Everybody shared, they opened, they had a lot of the same problems that we all have. But it was just like, it was refreshing to be in the room, because the only way you grow is to put yourself around people who want to grow with you or around you and share. And it was a great experience. So
Yeah. And, when you came out to Vegas and we talked, I was like, you have to get in that room, because it's going to take us months to what can be collapsed in 2 days.
yeah.
And so you've got to get into that room that's giving you that awareness, that is challenging you to grow, and that is also going to hold you accountable. And I tell everybody coming in, I mean, it's family. It's
Yeah.
family. And I was talking with Shannon yesterday on a call, and she goes, yeah, she goes, I was really thinking about quitting coaching because I didn't think I was coachable. Not because the coaching was bad, it's just that I wasn't coachable. And she walked out of that room after 2 days, and her whole mindset perspective is changed. She was on a call with the group, the kitchen table group. And she goes, you're right. It's family. I'm like, I told you. And so, being in rooms that change your perspective, challenge you to think bigger. And I mean, you guys do, you already are, right? I mean, people think of like, hey man, I want to own, like, I've had this long, I want to own a winery, but why haven't I started it? And that's why I was
Yeah.
joking with you, is like, we got to maybe make a jealous girlfriend wine to go along with the brand.
Hey, it'll go with anything. I mean, vodka, it is funny. My oldest son told me, he goes, the idea that you had about the tequila, that's what, people are talking, drinking a beer, in their garage, watching football, and everybody has an idea, but they never follow through. And he's like, you followed through. And, even he was shocked. But that's what I want to align myself with. I want to align myself with around people who follow through,
Mhm.
who have energy like I have, who want to learn, who want to grow, who want to share. And that's what it's all about. That make us all successful. We can all be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's so cool. It's so exciting. And those things that you just love, right? That keeps that keeps that motivation firing at all times.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't understand, the dynamics of motivation, but where you have to get to is that you're doing something that is fun,
Yeah.
you're doing something that you love, and you're doing something that gives you the fulfillment, your own fulfillment. And you tie those three things together, you're never going to be at a lack of motivation.
Mm-mm, not at all. I even find myself, though I worked at the hospital and I had to sit behind a desk, um, being an office manager, now it's like I almost like get stir crazy sitting behind a desk. I like being out, being in the public, talking to people. I just want to be involved,
Yeah.
and that's what I like about real estate.
Yeah. That's absolutely what's going to happen. So
Mhm.
no, it really is. It's really awesome to see, and just super excited for where you guys have come, and just continuing to solve problems, continuing to move forward, and just creating a bigger future. That's where our present becomes better, when we can expand the thinking of our future.
Yeah, yeah. I want to help anybody else crush it, and I want to crush it. So 2022 is going to be, maybe that's my word. You always ask me what my one word is, and of course it's energy and inspiration, but maybe it's crush, because I'm going to crush
Crush.
it in
I'm going to
2022.
crush it.
I'm going to
Hashtag
crush
crush it.
it. You got
So
it.
so Connie, anybody listening into this, and they're inspired, and want to know more, want to connect, what's the best way to connect with you?
You know what? I love my cell phone. Of course, you can text, but I'm so old school. Call me. Call me 843-532-3356, or connect with me on ConnieWhiteRealEstate.com.
ConnieWhiteRealEstate.com. Awesome. Connie, I appreciate it. I know you and Wayne have your hands full, and so taking the time to jump in with us and drop some value, and can't wait to see moving into the new year what everything brings for us.
I hope you invite me back.
I
You
will.
better.
I want that invite on your podcast too.
You got it.
Awesome. We'll see you guys. Make sure you guys give Connie some love, connect, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya.
Bye.